with his workshops and personal treatments. He's a teacher and a friend. And I feel so blessed that our paths have crossed. Okay, someone's sharing a screen. Okay. Am I meant to do anything, Elizabeth? No? Okay. It's not always been easy. He's challenged me, he's pushed me, and encouraged me to go way beyond my comfort zones. And for that, I'll always, always be grateful. So thank you, Jeff. And I'm sure I can speak for many of the other teachers and practitioners where he's pushed us beyond where we are comfortable to go. For those people who are new to Life Alignment, who are just here on the invitation as clients or friends of people or family, Jeff is the creator of Life Alignment, and he's developed this incredible system of energy healing, which has grown and evolved over the years. It includes working one-to-one, doing treatments, working with groups, working with the environment and balancing the environment, business, and so many other applications using the Life Alignment principles. Now, usually in a normal year, Jeff travels extensively, holding open workshops and trainings throughout the world. So being in one place for you, Jeff, must be really odd. I hope you're keeping up your packing and your unpacking of suitcases just to keep your hand in so that you don't feel too lonely in not having to do it here. But, you know, jokes aside, through his deep commitment to help facilitate change in the world, Life Alignment is well established in many, many countries, in the UK, in Europe, from Italy in the south to Norway and Sweden up in the north, Israel, South Africa, the US, Australia, Mauritius. It is all over, and it continues to spread and to grow. And we are so grateful for that. Each of these countries, of course, have highly qualified teachers. They have highly qualified practitioners who all offer this amazing work. So thank you, everyone, for being part of this. Jeff is holding some workshops, online workshops, and we thought that we'd tell you a little bit about the workshops at the end of the evening, because we don't want to take away too much time from Jeff. But just to tell you quickly what they are, there are 2 in May, the journey through the chakras. The throat and brow chakra is one. And then the second chakra that we're doing, which is actually in June, is the crown chakra. And the other workshop that we're doing, which would have been held in London, is opening to the power of love. And in these workshops, you can experience Life Alignment. Jeff does individual and group healing. Everyone really benefits a lot from it. It's open to everyone. No one needs experience to come on here. You don't need to be a practitioner or know anything about energy, in fact. And so we'll give you more information about it at the end. So once again, thank you so, so much for being here. It's absolutely fabulous to see everyone. And I'd like to hand you over to Jeff. So thank you.
Thank you, Cherry. I thought of challenging you once again and have you give the talk, but I think now that I'm online, finally, after much maneuvering, I'll say a few words. So welcome, everybody. I see a lot of new faces. Thank you, Cherry. She is my absolute amazing coordinator in UK. And thanks to her, this evening and some of the other workshops can happen. So I'm going to try and keep this simple and tell you about Life Alignment. And my hope really is to be able to do...
If your mic is making some noise, sorry.
All right. move it back to the computer. Just
be good. How's that? Oh.
That's good. Thank you. Clearly, we're having some connection problems tonight with Jeff's connection. Sorry, everyone. Just hold on. He will be back.
He's worth waiting for.
Definitely agree.
Maybe in the meantime, we can see who is new to life alignment, who's not ever been on a talk or experienced a treatment. So if you just want to show your hands, if you've, put your hand up if you've not had anything to do with life alignment or experienced it.
There's also the little reactions down below.
Okay.
Put a thumb up.
So there are a lot of pages to look at. So I see some friends from South Africa. Good knitting there. Pass the time.
If you're back, I see you on the list.
Who's that, Francesca?
Jeff should be back, but I can't. I see him on the list, but I don't see him.
Really, really. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah.
I'm very sorry. My Wi-Fi in this part of the world, we're on a farm, is very, very unpredictable. And I hope we can get through this talk. This has never done this. So let's please send energy, because we're all connected, to my Wi-Fi. Not my wife, but my Wi-Fi and my wife. So as I was saying, normally we demonstrate. So tonight we're going to have to talk about the system. And just to let you know, for those of you that are not aware, we do have books written on life alignment by Philippa Lubbock, who might be on the call tonight. The first book is Life Alignment, Heal Your Life and Discover Your Soul's True Purpose. And the second book is The Healing Power of Life Alignment. And these can be purchased through Amazon. So my story and the description, if we happen to break down, is all in the books. But I'll try and condense
Terrible thing is that we've had so many workshops and so many talks, and this has actually never happened. So
somebody's made the point that is streaming it live going to be interfering with this, or do we just think it's the connection in SA?
He had a hard time getting on originally, but we can certainly stop it streaming. Everyone else, they all had the link and we have space. So let me just, is everyone in agreement with that? We stop streaming.
Definitely.
Okay,
It's not likely to be interfering though, because everybody else is fine. It's just Jeff who can't get on.
Maybe
So it's more likely to be him.
Maybe he has to close down a few windows.
What, on his computer?
Yeah, just to give him certain more bandwidth. So turn Skype off, turn anything that's connected to the internet off, and just keep Zoom on. All other browsers go off, and just the one browser, the one window, and that Zoom, and everything else gets turned off. That'll create more bandwidth.
And as a backup, he could also call in through his phone, not rely only on the computer, so at least we can hear him.
So should I tell you a little bit about Jeff in the meantime? Clearly, I think he's got something to do with this. Another challenge of life. As a young man, as a young boy, Jeff always had an interest in things beyond what you could see, the realm beyond what you could see. And he was lucky to grow up in a family that were meditators, and where spiritual things was not out of the ordinary. But Jeff is an extraordinary man, and he's back with that.
Back.
Thank you.
I told you, Sherry, that you'll be giving the talk tonight. So because Cherry has started to tell a little bit of a story about how I got to life alignment, I'll give you a few little extra pieces of that. As Cherry said, I had an interest in energy from a child. I had a certain awareness of this energetic realm. But after a very, very severe military training that I had in the early 60s, I got extremely ill, suffered from severe digestive problems and many other things for about 25 years. And I sought out different ways of healing myself, initially, of course, through conventional medicine, which did not work for me. So I went back to my energetic base that I was interested in and started to work with energy. And through a period of time, I was an architect back then. I was a suffering architect, but at the same time, I was inspired to begin to heal other people energetically. I knew nothing about energy. I knew nothing about healing people, but I followed an inner guidance that led me to miraculous experiences. I later moved from that was in South Africa, where I am now. I later moved to Canada, where I studied many things and opened a holistic center in Toronto with 22 different practitioners, including doctors and chiropractors and other holistic practitioners, and purchased a retreat where people came from all over the world for week detoxification. And there I began to receive intuitively, you may call it being a conduit, being a channel, but it was my own higher consciousness that was giving me information. And through those retreats over 10 years, which we did in many countries, was born life alignment, the seeds of life alignment. People were begging me to teach what I was doing, which I could not do because it was so intuitive. So feeling the deep need to do that, I was guided to this retreat, which is north of Toronto. And in a 2-3 day process of deep meditation, I received a download of what is now, it was called body alignment at that time. And it consisted of a series of different points on the body. I'll show you in a while. You'll see in the background a big chart. I'll show you a close-up of points in the body that relate and connect energetically. That connect energetically to the organs and glands and system and an operating system. So I couldn't understand why this whole new thing came, which was completely different from everything I'd learned before. And I'd studied many, many techniques, all the kinesiologies, acupuncture, nutrition. I was a nutritionist. So I couldn't wait to get back to my treatment room in our center and started to work with people and was totally amazed at the immense power of this technique. And after a couple of months, I put a manual together. People were waiting for me to teach this. And that started in 1991. I began teaching what was then called Body Alignment, Module 1 at that time. And over the years, more information came through, more modules. And then at some point, the Vortex technology came through intuitively, which we will talk about tonight as well. So what is this all about? Of course, this is based on the fact, and we all know, I'm sure if you're on the call tonight, that everything is energy. We know that the atom is made up of 99.79% energy. And the rest is a little bit of matter. So if the nucleus of the atom was a peanut, the atom itself, the size of the atom would be an enormous football stadium. That's how much space there is in the atom. And Einstein once said that the field, meaning this energy field, because everything has a field, is the primary agent that governs the molecule. So we are made up, of course, of atoms and molecules. But the cause of all disease, imbalance, whatever occurs to us through our lives is really embedded in the field. That information, as we progress through lifetimes and inherit genetic patterns and national patterns, is all in the field. I'm sure you understand that we all have an auric field. It's known for a long, long period of time. People have been photographing this field. It started in the early 1900s with Kirlian photography. I'm assuming you all have heard of that. We'll show you some slides. Did you get my email, Francesca? The PowerPoint, I'll tell you when to put it on. And we have now aura photography that can show the chakras and the aura now and see the differences as we do this technique. Now, there's nothing new in this. The energetic reality of who we are has been known for centuries by the Chinese that created acupuncture, by India, the chakra system, and all the subtle bodies that has been depicted for ages in illustrations. So we are just rediscovering what has been known for centuries. And the way life alignment works with that, because I would say that life alignment at this time, after years of development, works with all aspects of our life, not only our physical body and imbalances that we may have in our body, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. But it works as well with our environment, with the land, with our food, water, air, our homes, bringing our homes into a resonant frequency with ourselves, in harmony with ourselves. It works with businesses and organizations and families and governments. And so it has a vast range, because the reality is that you can place somebody on a massage table, I have one here in front of me, and do this most wonderful treatment. And then they'll go back afterwards and speak on a cell phone and on their computer, or sleep on over a stream, which is we call geopathic stress. So part of the Vortex technology is a series of magnetic templates that have been highly charged, molecularly restructured to emanate a field of energy. And I received that about 5 or 6 years into the system. Initially, we just used our hands. And it was really a gift from the universe that allowed us to deepen the healing process, but at the same time to work with our homes, to balance our homes and our food, our water, the land, vegetation, nature. But the other important thing, particularly today, is to protect us from extremely invasive energies that we are subject to. Wi-Fi, hope mine continues to work, electromagnetic fields, geopathic stress, which is an imbalance in our earth. I'm sure you've heard of that, people sleeping on streams or a magnetic line that is a negative one, that people get sick that way. So the technology is here to balance everything, so that when we receive a balance, we call it a balance or treatment, we stay in that pattern of harmony. Because when we speak on the cell phone, we have a special protection card in the cell phone that maintains our energetic field. When we sit in front of a computer or other electromagnetic appliances, we can maintain the integrity of this aura. Let me show you a little bit of what that aura looks like with some of the tools that we use. So Francesca, if you could put up the PowerPoint. So by the way, if you want our website, I'll show it at the end. So if we can go down a slide. So here we have a Kirlian photograph of a leaf, which shows the energetic field, in fact, the etheric field of a leaf, because as I say, everything emanates energy. And they've done wonderfully interesting experiments where they cut the leaf in half and you still see the full field, because this etheric field exists whether we lose an arm or a leg. That reality is still there. You want to go to the next one? Francesca? Next. And so there we see the hands, the etheric, the Kirlian photograph of our hand. We can analyze the whole body through those emanations around our fingertips. It connects with all parts of our body. Next. So here we have aura photographs. And this is without the tools that I'm talking about. I'll show you what a card looks like. So we see the aura, we see a lot of black areas. That mark up there is just a watermark. We see the chakras that are sort of fragmented, and that's without any vortex tools we typically wear on our body a pendant to protect us from all of these energies. Down one. And that's a close-up of Eilat, who happens to be on the call. I saw. You see what that looks like, and we go down. Then she's wearing a pendant, and that's the difference. So the difference is enormous. So what has happened is her field has become filled with light and a beautiful color because it's of a high frequency. And so as we wear the pendant, it is very difficult for any invasive or low frequency energy to enter into our auric field. Let's go down to the next. And this is a close-up of Eilat showing how bright that field is. Up one, Francesca, I think. Okay, so let's go down. All right, down to the next one. Now here is an interesting, it's a video, but it's a still, there we go. Let's stay there. And here's a person, the inventor of a very powerful equipment called biofield viewer, where on the left, on the picture on the left, he's holding his hand as if, empty hand, as if holding a cell phone. And this captures the light around the chakras, around the body, around the glands, around the organ. And the picture in the middle shows the same person now making a cell phone call without a protective card. And you see around his aura those dark lines there, and the effect on the nervous system, on the pineal and the brow chakra. You can see very dark, the throat chakra is very dramatically changed. And on the right, we see the same person with the same cell phone, but now with one of the Vortex cards, which we call the cell phone card. And he, in the video, he just exclaimed dramatically that with the cell phone card and a live cell phone call, it was better than the norm on the left, because you see the color of the brow chakra, you see a lot of the reds have disappeared, and this would take analysis, but the whole nervous system has changed. So what the technology does, it actually improves our space, our field, way beyond, with even in an invasive situation like a cell phone, beyond the normal without the cell phone. So can you go down, Francesca? So here is Gila, who is also on the call on the front page. This is a very bad photograph. It's a photograph of a photograph. On the right-hand side, you see Gila holding a cell phone card without, a cell phone without the cell phone card. And you see the dark, heavy energy above the head. The chakras are fragmented, heavy energy, a lot of holes. On the left, it says with. That's the same cell phone a minute later with a cell phone card where the aura is completely filled. So we have done an immense amount of scientific studies on these things, but of course it's subtle energy. Use tools that measure these subtle energies. And if you go down one, this is just showing, I don't know if you know what a torus field, but this shows you what a torus is. And this is part of the energetic structures we use in life alignment, because every magnetic being, including the earth, is surrounded by a torus or a bar magnet or our bodies. Next one down, we'll just go through this quickly. That's a galaxy with a torus, and next, and that's the human being with a torus. Now that's part of our energetic field. We'll come back to this afterwards, Francesca. Thank you so much. If you can put me back on. So we see the evidence and depicted graphically what this looks like. So let's look at the principles that all of the different systems, working with home, we call home alignment, working with organizations, we call organization alignment, we do earth alignment, we do a variety of systems, life purpose alignment, all working with the same principles. And the principle, as we mentioned, the main principle is everything's energy. However, within our body, there is a higher consciousness. You might call it the higher self or the super consciousness, the superconscious that knows absolutely everything. And we might call that the biocomputer, the inner computer that records every impulse, every piece of information throughout our lives. And in life alignment, we work with that higher intelligence. And we go beyond our mental concepts of things, beyond our mind, and we extract the information. Let's say somebody comes to us with a pain in the back or the neck, and we don't necessarily work on the pain or in the back or the neck. The body tells us exactly where to go. And that could be the liver or the kidney or the thyroid or the adrenals. In other words, the higher intelligence of the body knows exactly what the underlying cause is. So we find where the energy is blocked and why it's blocked. In other words, the story behind the blockage, which could be something in childhood or along the way, a relationship, some trauma along the way that got embedded into the vibrational system of our body, because this is vibrational medicine. And it gives us other organs and glands. I'll show you what the points look like in a moment. And it gives us a whole network, a stream of different parts of the body, organs, glands, systems that are interconnected, and specifically to that organ that came up as what we call the priority point. In other words, from the higher self's agenda, the person may have come with a sore back or problems in their relationship or problems at work. But the higher self will say, that's really the tip of the iceberg. Let's go to what's going on in the kidney, the left kidney, connected to the liver and the immune system and the central nervous complex of points. And yes, let's look at the underlying cause. So the root cause at an emotional or mental level. What is the story? Now, in all my years of exploration, working with different systems, I do not believe that you can clear a condition permanently that hasn't accessed the underlying emotional cause. So what we do in life alignment is both. We clear the blockage energetically. We open up the flow of life, of vital life, through this energetic circuit. And at the same time, there is a system to release the trauma that happened at 5 or 10 or 20, whatever, out of their bodies. And the body regenerates, becomes new, and functions at a completely different level. So what is the purpose of all of this? Yeah, what is the purpose of all of this? Why do we do that? Not to fix people's backs. It's wonderful to fix people's bodies and pains and so on, diseases. But ultimately, the end goal of life alignment is to remove the layers that have obscured the reality of who we are truly. In other words, our true nature. which is encapsulated in many layers. And the mind and the ego have a big part in keeping that submerged. So as we remove layer by layer, we can begin to reveal, as the book says, our true purpose. And I think we're all looking for why we are here. What is our purpose on this planet? Why did we come here? And how can I use my gifts, my talents, what I've brought into this life, so that it can serve the whole? And so that's why life alignment is a system of personal and global transformation. We are always working with the personal, even if we have a group of 100, we'll work on one person, which will then affect 100, but the ripple effect of that goes out into the planet, into the body of humankind, and has an impact. So we constantly emanating light into the global field. We're always working with the field. Tonight, we have 366 people here. And I don't know if you can accept the fact that we are all interconnected. And together, we are creating a field. Can you accept that? Well, we'll see that, we'll feel that tonight, because we're going to do some work on 1 or 2 people or the whole, and see how that affects us. How's my sound? Can you hear me? All okay? All right. Are we okay so far? Can you relate to any of that? I'm sure I'm speaking to the converted. So if you do have questions in the process, please put them in the chat and somebody will relay them to me, Francesca or Cherry, whatever, Elizabeth. So, because we interconnected, we can choose, and we'll demonstrate this, we can choose one person that represents this enormous field of now it's 365. Perfect, just the days of the year, where it's a good number. So we can choose 165. That amazing? Because the same principles apply, whether we're doing group balances, whether we're balancing a home, whether we're balancing an organization of 3,000 people. It's all works on the same principle. Everything is energy. And what we do in the body, we open communication between cells and organs. We know everything's intercommunicating. Like the stars in the sky and the planets in the solar system, everything has its own unique frequency and is interconnecting. In perfection, our bodies are working to perfection. I don't know if any of you have studied anatomy and physiology. It's awe-inspiring how our bodies work. Why does our bodies not heal rapidly? Because we have trauma from the utero, from birth, from early on in life, from pre-life, other times, from what we've inherited. And so our vital force cannot reach those areas. So for instance, if you have an injury, you hurt your elbow, it takes a long time for your elbow to heal because the body is trying its best to get energy there. When we open the flow of energy, it can heal in moments. We see, unfortunately, I can't show you this demonstration. We see people whose bodies are completely out of alignment. The ribs and the hips and the legs and the arms And most of us are, because most of us are speaking on cell phones or mobile phones that throw our field completely out and take us out of our center. So one of the main goals is to bring us back home to our center. So when we work on a body on the table with a few cards or the life alignment technique, the body, even if there's curvature of the spine, a little bit of scoliosis or whatever, can align within moments. Because when we clear the field, which is much easier to clear than trying to do that at the physical level, which is much more condensed energy. So when we clear the energy field, the physical body responds immediately. And so as the field is cleared, the body comes into alignment and people's spines straighten, people's bodies straighten in moments, and the pain goes away. Unfortunately, I can't show you that tonight, but please see if you can be open-minded to accept that. So it's the same thing with an organization. It's the same thing when we work with nature, with trees, with the home. Everything comes into alignment, or what we often say, coherence, with our body, our heart, our mind, and our spirit. Most of us, you can accept the fact, are not in their center. We have left our center somewhere in our lives through trauma, through escapism, through disassociation, through a variety of factors. And so someone that comes to life alignment, what do? We bring them home. You cannot really treat a person that's not at home. We have to bring them home, and then the impact of the shift that happens, the transformation, is instant. Can you accept that? Thumbs up if you can buy into that. You'll have to try it somehow. And by the way, if I forget to tell you at the end, whoever, if you want a treatment or to learn a module, training, please contact the website that I'll show you, our main website, but contact the person that recommended you come on. So if you're in the States and it's Elizabeth or David or whoever, contact them, or in the UK, the teachers that might have sent you. Okay? So how about we demonstrate that? Okay, now we are very far apart. We are connecting electronically. And yet we can connect energetically. And this is the wonderful part of this particular situation with COVID-19. We are forced to be separated so that we can begin to learn the art of connection, one with the other, through the heart, energetically, and open our intuition, expand our field. Can you accept the fact that most of us at this time, and actually in most times, are in survival mode, in fight or flight? And the moment we're in fight or flight, we leave our bodies. And it's difficult to make the connection to our higher selves, to source of love and light, when we are not in our center. So we bring people out of fight or flight, bring them into a place of peace, tranquility, and harmony. And through that, we bring them into alignment with who they truly are. Who is iPad di Samuela? You speak English, Samuela? Can you hear me? Is she one of, are you one of the Italian? Samuela, can you hear me? I'm speaking to you, but it could be in Italian. Who's translating in Italian here?
Hi, Jeff. I'm translating.
Sorry, I can't hear that.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Jeff?
I am not able to hear anything. Who's speaking? Mariella?
Livia is speaking.
All right. Let's find
Can you?
Someone else. So please do, are there any questions that people have written into the chat? Elizabeth, Francesca.
Jeff, I just sent you 2 questions on a private message that were written in the chat, in the general chat. So I just sent them to you.
Julie, are you there? Julie Smith, can you come closer? Where are you? Where do you live, Julie?
I live in Leicestershire in England.
Can you speak? I can't hear you.
Yes, can
Hello?
you hear me? Hello?
Jeff, she is speaking.
Why am I not hearing?
She is speaking. Can you hear me?
Oh, it's coming out of my headphones. Sorry about that. I'm going to turn it off. Okay, sorry about that. Samuela, you may have been speaking to me. Julie, can you speak?
Hi, Jeff.
Ah, I can hear you. I thought I'd lost it for a moment. Where are you located?
I'm in Leicestershire in England.
In England. And have you studied life alignment?
No, I had a taster session with you in Olympia last year.
Oh my goodness. And you survived that?
I certainly did. I was one of the ladies that hobbled onto the couch and then was very happy that the pain was gone when I got off the couch.
Right. So the pain is still gone?
Yes, it just kept getting better and better.
All right. Then why would I work with you if you have no more pain? Do you have any pain still?
Yes, I have. When you said about the elbow, I've got a golf elbow that's very painful.
Okay. Do you play golf?
No, it's throwing the ball for the dog.
Okay. All right. I'm going to show you what a vortex or a life alignment chart looks like. And so Julie, stay there with me. And somehow that's not happening through my other camera. So I'm going to show you with this camera. So that's a chart, very difficult to see with this camera. Showing many, many different body points. And those body points are what we work with as access into the field through different organs and through different glands. So Julie, can you talk again? I want you back on the screen, the front screen.
Yeah.
Speak.
Yes, I'm here, Jeff.
Where are you? Oh, there you go. You've just appeared. So what I'm going to demonstrate through Julie, and life alignment works with applied kinesiology, or what we commonly know of as muscle testing, but a very unique system of muscle testing. And it also works with dowsing tools, either dowsing rods that you find water under the ground, and etc. Sorry, I'm just going to go back to the old video. You can see me straight. And so have you all heard of a pendulum? A pendulum is a dowsing tool. We use a number of tools, mainly muscle testing, but I cannot muscle test you online, unfortunately. So stick out your arm, Julie, and it's very difficult to grab your arm. I'm trying, but I can't muscle test you. So I'm going to use a pendulum. And that's how I found you on 15 screens. I found you. So thank you for showing up. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at what your access is into your body, okay? One of the points, your liver, your large intestine, your adrenals, whatever, okay? And I do it by zone. So there's nothing in zone A, zone B, left, right. So what's in right of zone B? We have the liver, the gallbladder, connective tissue, blah, 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 number of different points. Actually, your liver is showing up, and I'm going to do this for you. So I'm going to touch my liver. Now I'm really touching your liver because I've got a line, an energetic. Can you believe that? That
Yes.
We connected energetically. So I'm going to touch my liver, but I'm really touching yours, and enter it into my biocomputer. Now we're not going to go into complexes and other body points. We don't have time to do that. But I'm going to look at what is locked in the liver. So before we go on, tell us where your pain is. You've got pain in the elbow.
I've got pain in my elbow, and I've got pain. I do have some pain in the lower back and my knees.
Oh my goodness, well, you better come to another mind, body, spirit by the looks of it.
Well, I think you're right.
Just that we won't be there, so no one will be there, so unfortunately. We'll do it online, Julie.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So I'm scanning, what am I doing? I'm scanning a list of what we call emotional patterns, thousands of words on Julie's behalf, because I am now connected with Julie. And so repress is one of the words, and stepped on is another one of the words. Now, those two words can make many stories depending on how we combine them. So we could have felt stepped on as a child and repressed the anger and the sadness or whatever it is. Or we can repress being stepped on. What do those two words mean for you personally, Julie?
Yes, I feel as if I can relate to both words really from a very young age, actually.
Right. Sorry, I'm just going to switch on another light. I'm going into the darkness. And by the way, that's what life alignment does. It works with life patterns. It doesn't work with something that happened once or twice. It works with programs that we have inherited, created, but they're in the unconscious. These are tapes that are playing out in our lives. That is locked. Now, this is connected to your liver. Now, liver traditionally has got to do with anger, resentment. So sense out if there has been any anger around that. But if you could speak a few words, I know it's not easy in front of so many people, but whatever feels safe for you, Julie, around the stepped on, how you felt that, and the repression.
I felt invisible. I felt deep grief and deep sadness. I felt as if I was wrong somehow, as if I was responsible
for
other people's pain.
Okay. Okay. So this followed through most of your life.
Yes.
And what was going on? I'm now looking for more information because there could be a time frame, there could be people, places, situations. What was going on in 1998 for you, Julie?
1998.
Around that time.
Around that time, I think 96, I was 3 years, nearly 3 years into a business, created a business with my ex-husband. I think at that time I also had a full hysterectomy. 98, it was very, yeah, it was a very challenging time. Yeah.
And how would you relate that to repressing, stepped on, feeling stepped on?
I didn't, even though I set the well, we weren't on the same wages, so there was an inequality around that. When I didn't particularly look after me as much as what I should have done with having the hysterectomy, which is quite a big operation. I was still trying to hold everything together. So I felt that I wasn't looking after me.
Things around that time.
In
that marriage.
In that I'd just come out of one marriage, and yeah, no, it was all not good, Jeff.
Not good. All right.
No.
I'm sorry to have to take you back there, but I would ask you to feel that time, be back as if it's happening right now. We don't have to go into any detail here now. It's not a comfortable process. Now, why did I choose Julie? Not because of her elbow, or not because she's blonde, or not because of anything like that. So because Julie is representing something for all of us, probably at current time, because in many ways we may feel stepped on by governments, by the virus, and suppressing a lot of our feeling, or any permutation around that. So in a sense, whatever happened in 1998, and that's what's locked in to the liver, but also to her pain. So hopefully through this process, Julie, you may be able to release. We're not working directly on your pain. We're working the liver, that is the priority point for this pain, because that's where you're holding some anger and resentment. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to lead you into anything, but just to extract information from you. So what I'd like you to do, and we're going to use a 4-step process. Put your fingers up, hands up, if you relate to these 2 words, anybody of the group. who's relating, stepped on, suppressing, and it could be any aspect of that. So what we're going to do is a 4-step process, which we learn in a course which we call the foundation course. It's the entry level into life alignment. It's a 3-day workshop, 4-day workshop that many teachers around the globe teach, and it gives us enormous amount of tools. And if you feel a desire to learn this, you can contact the website, any of the teachers that sent you. So the 4 steps, and I'm going to use specific cards. Can you see what a card looks like? There's a magnet in the middle of that. It's a magnetic plate. It's like a fridge magnet. It's got an image. Each one has got an image, but it's not anything to do with the image. It's just the signature, so we know what the card is. But that magnet has been imbued with very specific energy. And I'm going to spin those cards. Luckily, most of the time you won't see me. But we're going to do 4 steps. First step is we're going to feel the suppression, the stepped on, feeling stepped on, or stepping on others, or whatever it is, or feeling stepped on by life right now, by the virus, by governments. And the things that we have suppressed, because when we suppress stuff in our life, it begins to smolder and, ferment and begin to develop into something that affects our health and our well-being and brings pain or disease. So we're going to hopefully release that from your body, Julie. So the first step is I feel whatever, okay? I feel sad, I feel angry, I feel whatever it is. Everybody, your own feeling. The second step, which we're going to do through spinning the cards, is what would I choose to feel rather than angry, sad, frustrated? At that time, not changing other people, but just at peace, in control of my feelings, in protected, I feel safe. Because back then, Julie, do you think you felt completely safe?
No.
You didn't, right. So your choice may be to feel at peace. I don't want to put words into your mouth, but to feel the safety, to feel the peace. And this is for all of us, guys. The third step is to release the energy in the first step, release the anger, the frustration, the sadness, etc. And the 4th step is to receive the new energy. This is a time, this coronavirus time, to recreate ourselves, to reset who we are, to create a whole new dimension of experience, don't you think? And so the opportunities to release old baggage, old habits, old patterns that are very unconscious. Life alignment goes straight into the unconscious, because at the conscious level, you can talk for years and years and years and nothing could change. Are we all ready? Put your fingers up, hands up, ready to go. All right, so let's go into feeling. And Julie, as we're going through this, let us know where you're feeling it in your body and what's coming up for you. What are the emotions? What are the feelings? So let's go back into 1998, not a pretty time, not a comfortable time, and be there as if you're there right now. There's no one particularly else coming up, just yourself. So be there now. And I'm going to spin these cards. I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm spinning it just at the hip here in a round, because everything in life is in spin. You saw the galaxies in spin, the earth. Everything is spinning. The molecules, the atoms, the electrons around the nucleus. So I'm feeling, Julie, what are you feeling?
I'm feeling exhausted and drained.
And just keep saying that. I'm feeling exhausted and drained. And sense where you're feeling that, Julie.
Around my solar plexus.
Okay.
And around the root chakra. It's almost as if I can see the red energy just flooding away.
Okay. And what's the emotion that's arising for you? What's coming up?
Deep grief.
Deep grief.
Yeah, grief.
Any frustration, any anger, anything else? Just go into it. Go deeply into it.
I just feel so drained. I don't feel as if I've got the energy to be angry anymore.
Right. So in a sense, through your exhaustion and grief, these feelings are deeply suppressed. They cannot express themselves. Is that correct? See if you can feel that. It's like you don't have the energy to come into your power, into your expression. So, and just sense what that feels in the body. Everybody, let's go through this process together. And we know we have to get permission to go to the next step. We got permission. Now, the next step, and I'm spinning here at the ribcage here, I'm choosing to feel. In other words, if I could relive this, what would I choose to feel? I choose to feel at peace with myself, protected, safe, whatever. Just choose those words. What would you choose?
I'd choose to feel safe. I'd choose to feel angry.
Okay, that's good. You choose to feel enough energy, vital to express yourself. Right.
Yes.
So feel
and
that.
To give a voice.
Who I am, my feelings. Is that correct?
Yes.
So make that choice. And as you say that, I'm helping to empower those feelings through myself, but with you. And imagine yourself at that time feeling vitally alive and able to express. And what would you say at that time? What would you express? Can you verbalize that? Say the words that you have suppressed for many years.
The words that are coming up is, I am here. I'm here.
Okay. I'm here. Is that saying,
Look,
see me?
I'm here.
Hear me?
See me. Hear me.
See me.
Yes.
Okay.
See.
And there's some anger attached to the fact that you haven't been seen. Right.
Yes.
Why don't you, for a moment, even in one sentence, even I am here, say that with gusto, with some real intensity. I am here, see me.
I am here. I am here now.
Good. I want you to feel, sense what that feels like now, Julie. I am here. I'm present. I'm alive. And I am amazing. I'm a magnificent being of light. See that, feel that, because you're now connecting with the truth of you. How does that look? How does it feel?
I feel as if I'm filling up.
Right.
I feel as if, I feel as if I'm filling up and as if there's this expansion.
Right. So feel your field. I can feel that even as it moves through me. Feel how your field is expanding, filled with light, feeling love again. Now we're going to step three, everybody. We're going to release the frustration, the anger, the exhaustion, whatever it is for you. But for you, Julie, you're going to release all of that we felt earlier on. So I release, I let go, whatever. In your words, what do you want to let go of now? I release.
Release. I let go of everything that's been too heavy to carry. It's almost as if I can see everything crumbling around me and I'm stepping forward and out of it.
Wonderful. How does that feel? Free?
Yes.
Relief?
Light. It feels as if a weight's gone off my shoulders.
Right. Just enjoy that, Julie. Feel it, embrace it, celebrate it. Filled with light, with love. We're going to step 4, where we now receive that freedom, that relief, that presence. I am here. Let it come pouring in, and these cards, I'm spinning these cards that are opening up vortices for that energy to come in. How does that feel? Whoever's got cards, practitioners do it as well. How's that feeling, Julie?
Well, I keep releasing, I'm burping away.
That's fine. That's part of the process. It's okay. But, so you're just letting go of some old stagnant air or something.
Yeah.
How does it feel other than that?
Really good. I feel lighter, and I feel as if I feel lighter and more energized. I feel more animated. I want to be animated.
Right. Right. Now, we haven't worked directly on your elbow or your back or anything else, but sense out how they feel right now.
Well, my elbow used to be sore to touch, and I'm touching it and I can't even feel it now. That's amazing. That's amazing.
And feel your back. Move around.
Just a little bit of stiffness, but yeah, just there's still a little bit, but not.
But lighter than it was?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. And it'll take time, another hour, another 2 hours, tomorrow morning. But the elbow, you can move your arm without pain?
The elbows, yeah, the elbow, I can touch it and I can't feel a thing.
Wonderful. I hope you can feel your elbow.
Well, I can't feel my elbow.
So we're going to detoxify all of those negative energies out of your system and out of everybody's system. And we're going to save it in the hard drive. How's everybody else feeling? Did you go through the process? I can only see one screen at a time. Anybody went through? Thumbs up. Yeah, wonderful. So you can put it in the chat if you want to. Wonderful. Alan, nice to see you, Alan. Good to see you, my friend. I can't see all 14 pages here of people, but that's amazing, Julie, and really wonderful to connect with you again. You don't have to spend all that money to go to the Body, Mind, Spirit and come pay for a treatment. There we go. You're healed.
Thank you so much.
That?
Thank you.
And the liver now is strong, if I was muscle testing you, and you are strong on those emotions, if I was testing you. So in other words, they have cleared your system at some level. Of course, there are many layers, and you may want to continue with, is there a practitioner near you that you know of?
Yes, is it David Parker? David Parker.
Okay, all right. So see David Parker. Wonderful. Everyone good? So why don't we go to the next level? By the way, are there any questions in the 77 chats, the chat that I would need to address right now? Francesca, Elizabeth, Sherry.
Jeff, I can send you privately the messages that were for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah. So people are just expressing their feelings, how good it was for them, but no specific questions that I see. All right.
He doesn't hear me.
Yeah, I heard you. So let's take this a little further. And life alignment works on many, many levels. And who is it for? The people that come to life alignment typically, initially, have health problems. So they've been trying absolutely everything else, nothing's worked. They come to a life alignment practitioner, and in one session, it clears stuff they may have been working on for many, many years, because it goes very deep, very fast. It goes to the core of the underlying cause. And so it works very rapidly. So initially they may come with pains or diseases or conditions, but soon it evolves to a psychological, spiritual, and people just continue to come to evolve, to progress, and to clear the issues that are standing in the way of true happiness, true joy, the discovery of who they truly are. And because as you unpeel those layers, and sometimes they're connected to family patterns, we inherit family patterns. They're very unconscious, we're not aware of them. We inherit national patterns, and there's stuff in the global unconscious. So if you think of this time, there is massive fear, unconscious, and panic, all sorts of feelings, are there not? But the insecurity and the uncertainty, because we have been invited at this time, doesn't matter how this came about, we really have been invited to let go of control, because humans, particularly egos and minds, love to be in control of their lives. And being uncertain as to our future, even the next day, the next moment, is not a comfortable feeling. So we are doing an enormous amount of work in all our workshops for global healing, that to be able to flow with whatever it is happening now and to be fully in the moment. And that's what ultimately we're needing to learn in life, is how, and Julie beautifully expressed that, I am here now. That was a beautiful expression, Julie. And to really be able to say that, I am here, present, now, and ultimately I am. Because as we peel these layers and we come into a place of surrender to the higher consciousness, the power of love, the power of light that is pouring through us. Because I'm sure the way we experience Julie's balance, we begin to realize that we are not alone. Is that correct? We are not alone. We are interconnected, and there are immense energies, the light beings that are working with us to support our lives. And the mind, the ego mind, has basically been in the duality of separateness. And when we transcend that duality and come into a non-dual experience where everything is just one, and we begin to align with life, which means the earth, the sky, the sun, our bodies, nature. We just are in alignment with all that is. And that's a wondrous experience. And that's where life alignment takes you, to a place where you are just in complete coherence with all that is in the universe. And we feel supported, we feel held, we feel loved. So what I'm going to do now is identify from a list which we call the manifestation list, and specifically see for this group what wants to come into being, what wants to manifest. Can you get that? And then we may see what's blocking it. And then we'll do a meditative process to clear that energy and just come into that beautiful place of stillness, of peace, of oneness. So I'm going to use my pendulum and okay. So two pretty big words, or well, a few words in that, but a big concept. So one is the relationship with our higher self. Okay, we all have a higher consciousness, the soul that really is very patiently waiting for us to evolve and to come into alignment. And the other one is the word grace. The grace that comes, possibly, I mean, you need to interpret it yourself, the grace that comes when we open up to our higher consciousness. Make sense? So that one, how does that manifesting that? It's pretty good, isn't it? Yes, wouldn't we? Which is just ease rather than struggle, effort, fight, flight, freeze. So what our higher selves are telling us, what the universe is telling us, let go. Let go of the put down. By the way, stepped on, the put down is what we do to ourselves. We step on ourselves. Right, Julie? Once we felt stepped on, we do that to ourselves. Mind, but the higher mind says you are just amazing. So let's look at what's blocking. If anything, I would assume there is. Very amusing. Okay, so the word quarrel is coming up because that's probably, of course, we quarrel with each other and so on and with life, but we also quarrel internally between our intuition and our ego and our mind. There's always just this monkey mind is always trying to put us down when our true essence is trying to lift us up. And there's an internal dialogue that's not very functional. Can you relate to that? Just that word quarrel. With what's going on in the world, what's happening with the coronavirus, what's happening with the politics. There's just the energy in the field of quarrel, right? There's no agreement at any level in the of consciousness. So there's always quarrel. Do you think that affects us? We are part of that. So that manifests as our own internal quarrel, internal conflicts, torn between one reality and the other, between who we really are and our ego mind. How does that sit with you guys. So what I'd invite you to do, guys, is to really sit in a very comfortable position and become aware of a presence, an energetic presence with you, which is part of our collective field that we are creating. And no doubt you will feel it because it is a tangible field. It might be your own presence, your heart, but we also have very powerful guides of life alignment that spring around the world and are present with each one of you. And let's breathe gently and easily. And remember, we are not alone, so we don't have to do this with our mind. So in fact, if you surrender your mind to the higher mind that is pouring down through your crown chakra or wherever, open heart. And at some point you may feel a stilling of the mind. Where all is well. There is no judgment. We are transcending the quarrel. You cannot do that with the mind. Only this transformative, transcendent field can lift you up, inspire you. So let's let go of any resistance we may have had. And just flow. Flow with this immense current of love. And if you can feel the heart open, expand. Around the heart is a very powerful field. It's also a torus field, which expands. And at some point, our fields begin to merge as one. Because we come into a space that has no time, no space. No duality. And everything settles into this feeling of grace. Where we are held by this current of love. That holds the whole universe together. And we become one with that. And we're just flowing gently, gracefully with the river of life, letting go of the bank that we've been holding on to. The bank of the river, by the way. And we just fully, in this moment, nothing else exists. There is just pure light that emanates across the globe. There is just pure stillness and peace and love. And all is well. We are aligned with our higher self, our soul that has been patiently waiting for us to come into this alignment so that we may begin to fulfill the purpose for why we have come. And let go of the need of pain to take us there. We move there on the journey, on the path of life. With consciousness, not hard knocks. We have that choice. So you may want to choose right now the path of grace, of ease, of choice, of empowerment, rather than being swayed and hit by life for us to grow. We can choose to grow and evolve now. So let us feel our bodies, ground our bodies into the earth. Send deep love and blessings to the earth that is now celebrating the peace and quiet it's had for a while. The reduced carbon footprint on the earth. And let's make a choice to go back to the earth as a guest, not as a dominator. And choose to recreate ourselves in a new consciousness. so we can reboot our internal computer and reset it. And as a result, have that effect on the world. The new normal is something transcendent. The transcendent eventually will become normal. So let's celebrate our confinement, those that are in confinement at this time. Celebrate this challenging time. Whenever you feel ready, open your eyes to a new you, a new reality. Welcome yourself as a magnificent being of light. Welcome to you, true you. So, how are we doing? How did you do with that? Did you feel the peace? Did you feel the calm? Or was your mind going alpha leather? Alan, how are you doing there? Wonderful, my friend. It's been a true joy being with everybody. Samuela, we'll get to you sometime. And right on page 3, on my page 3, is Philippa, who wrote these books, these magnificent books. Philippa, do you want to say hi?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Philippa.
I hope I'm doing it right. Anyway, it's been such a joy. I always go to this in person when it's in London, every time. And I didn't imagine it could be so wonderful doing it like this. But the connection is so strong. So, hello to everybody. And now back to Jeff. Thank you, Jeff.
We love you, Philippa. And thank you for the magnificent books you wrote. And the first one's translated, I think, into 5 languages. Is that correct? How's everyone on page 4? Okay. So we have time for 1 or 2 questions. Anyone has a question?
Jeff, I wrote down a couple of the questions.
All right.
That relate to that right now is how do we deal with judgment, especially in these current times?
Well, I think for whoever wrote that, and for all of us that have judgments, that when we came into that place of stillness and peace, I'm sure you felt that judgment just dissolve. Judgment is a figment of the mind. And if your mind is controlling you, your ego is controlling you, there will be always judgment. There is immense judgment in the collective field. Isn't there? Everybody's judging everybody else politically, every which way. But when we transcend that 3-dimensional reality, which is chaos, we're never going to change that chaos. Forget about it. It's always been there and it will always be there. So we can choose to be and live in a reality that is beyond the chaos. And I think for many of us, I'm sure we did that for a few moments. And in that place where the dualities somehow dissolve into the background, there's no judgment for another. And I mean, the biggest judgment is for ourselves. And that's the quarrel. That's what we worked with. So thank you for that question. And as we practice that, and as you clear, you know, it's not a matter of practicing. I mean, you can do meditation for years and years and years and years, but you still have the old programs locked in the system. So it's really important to have somebody facilitate that for you, to clear the old junk. And as it clears, we feel lighter and lighter. I'm sure as Julie feels right now. Right, Julie? Where are you? Disappeared. And so we come to a place where it's so easy, and I'm sure many of our students can validate that as they've moved through layer upon layer and transformed. So in the ego mind strata, you will never get rid of judgment. That's just part of it. The mind is always judging. Next question.
Yes, there is one question on, does the energy exchange take place also when you're watching a recording of a healing, or just when it is live like tonight?
Sorry, just mute everybody. Sorry, does the energy exchange happen normally?
No, whether when you're watching a recording of a healing, does it happen even during the recording or just when it is live?
You know, I hear from many people who have watched the recordings of our chats and our workshops that they have felt the energy. It's hard to believe it and understand it, but I'm sure many of you have watched recordings of our meditations and our chats and have felt it. It's amazing, because it awakens something. And of course, it's much more powerful when we are together, because we are creating a field together. And that field doesn't disappear. You know, the body is electrical. Every single moment we are producing enough electricity to light a 100-watt bulb. That's how much electricity there is every moment. And of course, we waste a lot of that. We let go of a lot of that. We don't utilize it, but it's always there, because in every cell and every atom, there is energy. And our interconnection is just there, but you cannot get there from that place of mind. The mind is, that's the nature of the mind. It's in separation. You can't create oneness with the mind. You have to go to a much higher order than the mind to experience that connection. So yes, when you are in a more transcendent space, you will definitely feel that. And if not, people still feel it. I don't know, seems to happen. Next. Does that answer that question, I think?
There's another question here that might be related to is, are there energetic disturbance patterns that are typical to specific diseases like cancer?
Like?
Cancer.
Like cancer. Well, because we're energy, we're affected by energy. Some of those energies are negative energies that invade us from other people, right? Some people call that curses or whatever. The energies that we get from electromagnetic frequencies. Wait until we all have 5G. We'll see the cancers and diseases that emerge. And so we do work with protecting ourselves from 5G. The Vortex system comes from a source of intelligence and has the ability to protect us from these invasive energies. So people energy can be very, very invasive. Often it is our own energy because we open ourselves. Like attracts like. So when we're in anger and frustration, we're going to attract anger and frustration from the collective unconscious. And so, yes, we are invaded by energy that we have attracted and enabled to come into our field. Does that make sense? So, but of course, there are many, many energies. We work within life alignment. We have energy hooks with people from long ago that are still pulling on our field. Unconsciously, we're not conscious of it. And part of our process is to release those unconscious hooks. Sometimes people that love us, our mothers and grandmothers that are still pulling on us and not enabling us to be completely free. So most people are not free. They're being pulled by opinions. They're being pulled by, wanting to be liked, all sorts of energies. And so the ultimate thing is freedom. It's becoming free from all of these pulls on our field. If you sleep on a geopathic stress line, like a stream or there are many, many types of geopathic stress, that'll make you ill. Many people get cancer sleeping over a stream. So we douse that, we find out where it is, we put a card up for our house, say the rainbow card, and it balances everything out. So if you want to know more about the Vortex cards, please go to our website. And Francesca, if you could once again play the PowerPoint. We've got information for you to go to. So let's go down to the next slide. And that's our website. If you want to find out about or connect, wanting information, go to this email, which is the UK office. That's the telephone number, but the website will give you the office in each country. Those in South Africa would connect with the South African office and so on. We have many, many countries where we have a presence. And the next slide, please. And these are our upcoming workshops, all in Zoom, and they are truly transformative. Fortunately, some of it's been covered, but on the 23rd to 24th of May, we have the throat and brow chakra together, and you can get that on our website or going on to writing to the email in your country or the UK, 30th to 31st of May, opening to the power of love, and 27 to 28, crown chakra. And that really is the conduit to that power, to source. So please, I invite you to these very transformative experiences, and everybody changes. So thank you all for coming. It's been my pleasure. Hope you go in peace and health and safety. Any other questions?
There was one more that might be related right there with, I have a, if the electromagnetic disturbance is inherent in the waves, such as in 5G and Wi-Fi, how do our phones continue to work when the cards are attached?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. Literally, so the intelligence of the universe that provided the cards, allows the card to be on there. It doesn't protect you. It changes the spin of the frequency so that it is more beneficial to you than it was. So it literally transmutes or transforms the electron spin so that it is now in harmony with your body. Now, most people scientifically would say that's absolute nonsense because you have to block it. So you have special cases, you put your phone in, and I think that's a useful thing to have, particularly at nights, you're going to sleep and you don't want to this field. But from years of working with the cell phone card and showing how strong it tests on everybody, you saw the biofield viewer, it actually makes your field better than it was, even though you're using the cell phone. And it's not easy to understand, but you have to, please don't believe what I say, you have to try it out. Many people that could not use cell phones, there are many hypersensitive people to any electromagnetic fields can now use a cell phone because they feel the field more in harmony with themselves. I don't know if that answers the question. By the way, Philippa has written about all the cards in the first book. Try and get hold of that and or go onto the website. Thank you for that question. Any others, Elizabeth, Francesca? Guys, thank you so much for coming. If you'd like to do more of these intro talks, write to the UK office or to the website, somehow find a connection with the practitioners that sent you, and we'll do them again. Lots of love to everybody.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Lots of love.
Jeff, bye.
Very
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Very much.
Okay, thank you.
Ciao, Jeff.
Grazie mille, Jeff.
Thanks, Francesca. Elizabeth.
Bye, everybody. Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Grazie Livia, grazie Silvia.
Great, thank you.
Grazie mille.
Grazie, ciao. Ciao tutti, ciao. Lots of love. Shalom.
Thank you.
Arrivederci. Aquila. Go well.
Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Listen, those that remain, we'll have a party. We'll put some music on, we'll dance. I've got wine, I've got cheese and crackers. Please stay for the party.
Yeah.
Great idea.
I think that Cherry has to close the meeting for all.
Okay.
So,
where's Cherry? I haven't seen Cherry.
already
Where are
Jeff,
you, Cherry?
you haven't seen me because my internet kept on disappearing.
È difficile sempre mollare, sempre così. Sei stata bravissima, veramente fantastica. Ti è arrivata una pioggia di compliments e vabbè, sei fantastica.
And thank you, Francesca and Elizabeth, for the work that you did.
Yes.
Pleasure.
Francesca, Elizabeth, thank you so much. I couldn't have done it without you.
All of you guys, you're wonderful. Definitely not.
And Cherry, thank you, Cherry, for bringing it together, organizing it.
Perfect.
It's missing you. I kept on looking for you.
I kept on disappearing.
This has never ever happened where I've lost.
Ciao.
Ciao, everyone.